Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to my channel. Now, as you've seen from the title, are tie-ins necessary? Now, here we have 7 comics, all tie-ins to Absolute Carnage. Now, as I've said before, I am invested in Absolute Carnage. I want to read everything because this is the first event where I've truly felt really invested in everything. I've read events before, I've read a couple of the tie-ins and they haven't been great. They've been essentially filler. And I understand why they do that. You know, the characters that they've got, they can't progress the story as much until the event has finished. Which yeah, I understand. It's a bit of a shame, and it's a similar sort of thing with Absolute Carnage. You've got the Venom storyline. They don't progress it too much because obviously you can't when the main story Absolute Carnage is still going on. Saying that, however, most tie-ins that I have read, being the Civil War, House of M, they were more filler than these. Okay, these seem to be adding to the story a lot more than your standard tie-in, and I do think for anyone that's reading just the Absolute Carnage, there might be things that you could be missing. You might not see where certain characters come from and what happens to them, and this is where these tie-ins, I wouldn't say are necessary, but are good for the whole picture. I mean, the top one that we've got here is Miles Morales. I'm not going to spoil anything that's in Absolute Carnage 2 and then Miles Morales, but it details the events that happen leading up to Absolute Carnage 2 and then slightly after. Same thing with Lethal Protectors. This one is a bit of a strange issue in the fact that Morbius, Iron Fist, the Protectors aren't actually in it. But again, it's leading up to them being in it, I would have assumed so. But again, you get more of a story from another tie-in, it progresses the story from that. And so I do think that the Absolute Carnage tie-ins, although not absolutely necessary, are incredibly good fun to read, and they do give you the bigger picture. And it's also really cool to see all of the symbiotes, because I don't believe we've seen all the symbiotes in Absolute Carnage 1 and 2 yet, but we have seen them in the tie-ins. And similar to Carnage, they're terrifying, which is exactly what they should be. Like I said, the only sort of difference really between a normal tie-in to like I said, like a Civil War or a House of M, didn't read Civil War 2 though, would be the main story. Was it in Civil War you had Iron Man, Captain America, their main line stories were fillers. They were talking about things that happened within the last few issues. There wasn't anything pushing the story forward. The difference here, this one doesn't do it as much because you've got Venom in a lot of different places. He's in the tie-ins, he's in Absolute Carnage. He's not as much in this Absolute Carnage tie-in, was it issue number 17, but it still pushes the story forward because it's about his son. And that to me was very, very interesting. And it's, like I said, you're pushing the story forward and it seems like they're going to go somewhere with his son as well. It seemed to be set up from before Absolute Carnage started that something's going to happen, that his son's going to be in danger. And it pushes that forward here. And it's really good storytelling. And it's also just a lot of fun. So like I said, if there is anyone that is starting to read Absolute Carnage, wants to read Absolute Carnage, I would definitely say read Absolute Carnage, the mainline story. Without a doubt, it is probably one of the best events I have ever read so far. I know there's only 2 issues in, so it's a bit of a bold statement, but it seems something special. If you are reading them, I would suggest picking up the odd tie-in. For me, Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool has been probably one of the best ones. incredibly fun. The character of Deadpool is written very well. They've got the character down, and it really nicely ties into the mainline story. So guys, let me know what you think. If you're picking up Absolute Carnage, what you're thinking. If you're picking up any of the tie-ins, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, just to help me build up this channel and reach more people so we can talk more about comics. And I will see you in the next one.